Power can reveal who someone truly is, especially when that someone is your own blood. My sister betrayed me. The day she became president, she destroyed everything I built. What happened that night still haunts her. If you've ever trusted family and they turned around and betrayed you the moment they got power, then this story is for you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Revenge with Jason, where real emotions meet raw betrayals. Now let's begin. I wasn't surprised when she called a board meeting without telling me. I just didn't expect to be the last one walking in and the first one walking out. Michelle always wanted power, even when we were kids. But this? Firing me the same morning she took over our family's hotel empire, without a warning, without a conversation. That was cold, even for her. The room went quiet after she said it. As of today, Ryan is stepping down from his role as Director of Operations. The board has unanimously agreed. That was a lie. I looked at our Uncle James across the table. He looked down. He knew. They all knew she pushed this through behind closed doors. I didn't say a word. I stood up, buttoned my blazer, and smiled at her. Congratulations, Madam President. I hope the stress doesn't ruin your skin. Her jaw tightened, the same way it used to when Dad gave me more credit than her. I walked out with no plan, no job, no fallback, but I had something Michelle had forgotten about. People. The staff loved me. I built this business from the ground up with them, stayed late during renovations, covered shifts when the night team fell sick, mentored interns who now ran departments. She had the title. I had the loyalty. That night, I got drunk alone in my apartment, sitting in the dark with just my laptop open and an untouched whiskey. I should have felt broken. But all I kept thinking was, why now? Why did she want me gone so fast? And why the urgency like something was about to happen? At exactly 10:43 p.m., my phone buzzed. It was from Aaron, Michelle's husband. Can we talk? It's urgent and private. I stared at the message for a while. I hadn't spoken to him in weeks. The last time I saw him, he looked like hell, distracted, jumpy, and definitely hiding something. Now he wanted to talk? That too, privately? I replied with one word. Where? He responded instantly. Not over text. Meet me at the Meridian. Penthouse Michelle's favorite hotel, one of ours. I had opened that branch myself 3 years ago. My curiosity snapped awake. Something was off. Way off. And I was finally about to find out why. I got to the Meridian around 11:20 p.m. The lobby staff still recognized me. The doorman even gave me a slight nod, like nothing had changed. But it had. Everything had. The elevator ride up to the penthouse felt longer than usual. I stared at the mirrored walls, straightening my shirt, fixing my hair, like I was going in for battle, not a meeting. Aaron opened the door the moment I knocked. He looked worse than I remembered, like he hadn't slept in days. Shirt half tucked, collar loose, eyes bloodshot. Come in, he said, then locked the door behind me. I stepped inside. The room smelled like expensive cologne and stress. He didn't offer me a drink, just walked to the window, staring out at the skyline like he couldn't face me. Finally, he spoke. I didn't agree with what Michelle did today. Cut the small talk, I said. Why am I here? He turned around, hands shaking slightly. Because what she's hiding, it's going to destroy everything your father built. That got my attention. Michelle's been laundering money through the overseas accounts. Started small, private renovations, fake contractor invoices. But for the past 8 months, it's been millions. I didn't breathe, just stood there, letting the words settle. Why are you telling me this? I asked. His lips pressed into a thin line. Then came the sentence that shifted everything. Because I signed off on some of it. And if this explodes, I go down too. I stared at him in disbelief. You were helping her? No, he snapped. I was covering for her at first, but now she's cleaning out the company like it's hers alone, and she doesn't care who burns. A silence followed. The kind that only happens when you realize the person you once shared holidays and birthdays with is capable of burning your whole world to the ground. Why now? I asked. Why fire me? Aaron's voice lowered. Because someone sent an anonymous report to the board last week and with details of the fraud. She thinks it was you. I froze. It wasn't. He looked at me for a long second. I believe you. Then he opened a drawer and pulled out a USB drive. This has enough to bury her, he said. Emails, transfer logs, even recordings from her meetings with the fake contractors. I stepped forward slowly. Why give this to me? He swallowed. Because I know what she's capable of, and I'm not ready to lose everything for a woman who doesn't love me. I took the USB. My hands were steady. My mind wasn't. She'll know it came from you, I said. He gave a hollow laugh. She already suspects. That's why I'm leaving her. Tomorrow. I turned toward the door, the weight of the drive in my pocket suddenly heavier than I expected. And Ryan, he said as I reached for the handle. I paused. She's not done yet. I didn't sleep that night. I sat in my apartment, staring at the USB drive, playing Aaron's words on a loop in my head. She's not done yet. The man sounded broken, but he also sounded like he knew something he hadn't told me. By morning, I'd made a decision. I didn't go to the board, not yet. Instead, I went back to the hotel, but not as a visitor. I still had clearance on some of the back-end systems. My sister's mistake. She'd fired me fast, but didn't think to revoke my digital access. Inside the executive lounge, I logged into the system and downloaded the latest staff meeting minutes, access logs, and transfer reports. Then, something caught my eye. Aaron's name, removed from a travel itinerary to Zurich, replaced by Michelle. Same room, same client meeting. My pulse picked up. Zurich was where our father had opened the offshore accounts years ago, the accounts now being drained. I checked the date. Tomorrow. She was trying to move whatever was left. And disappear. But that wasn't the worst part. Buried inside a forwarded email chain was a scanned notarized document. Power of attorney, signed 3 days ago. By Aaron, transferring full control of his shares to Michelle. I sat back, stunned. He said he was leaving her. But on paper, he'd given her everything. Was it guilt, blackmail, or something else? I called him. No answer. I texted. What did you sign? Why would you hand it all over? No reply. That evening, as I debated whether to expose her to the board, a message popped up. Unknown number. If you're reading this, it means Michelle found out what Aaron gave you. She thinks you're bluffing. She's planning to frame you for the Zurich transfer. I froze. Another message followed. Check your old office. Bottom drawer. There's something you missed. I was done playing games, but something in me said, check. So, I went back to the hotel, slipped past security and into my old office. The drawer opened easily. Nothing inside, except a sealed envelope with one word written across it. Dad. I opened it. Inside was a letter, not addressed to me. It was from Michelle, to our father, her handwriting. I know you said he's not ready, but I won't let him take what I've worked for, not after what he did. Then, the line that made my blood run cold. If you hadn't protected him back then, none of this would be necessary. Back then? What was she talking about? Suddenly, this wasn't about a power move. This was personal, and somehow I wasn't just the victim of her scheme. I was the reason she was doing it in the first place. I sat alone in that empty office, the letter shaking slightly in my hands. If you hadn't protected him back then. My mind raced through old memories, the kind you bury so deep you forget they ever happened. Then it hit me. 16 years ago, I had covered for something. I was 18. Michelle was 14. Our dad had walked in, furious. She was crying, clutching her wrist. I had no idea what had happened, only that she'd fallen on the marble stairs. At least that's what I thought. But when Dad asked what happened, she didn't speak. She just stared at me, eyes wide, scared, and I stepped in. She tripped, I said. I saw it. I remember him looking between us, then nodding. That was the end of it. Or so I thought. What if that wasn't the truth? What if I missed something? Suddenly everything made sense. The resentment in her eyes, the way she never truly trusted me, never accepted my position, even when I earned it. I'd protected her. Or maybe I'd protected someone else, and she'd been holding that pain ever since. But none of that explained Erin, or Zurich, or why she was trying to erase me now. Unless she wasn't after the company. She was after me. I opened my phone and called Erin one last time. This time, he picked up. His voice was quiet. "You weren't supposed to find the letter." "What happened to Michelle back then?" I asked, barely keeping my voice steady. A pause, then a sigh. "She didn't fall." Silence. "She tried to tell you, but you were young. You believed the version that made sense. And your father—" He trailed off. "He made it disappear," Erin added. "Just like he did with everything else. Money, lies, pain. That's what this family does." I didn't know what to say. He continued. "She thought you'd turned your back on her, that you chose your future over her pain. I tried to make her see the truth, but by then, it was too late." So that was it. Her war wasn't about power. It was about payback. For a betrayal I never even realized I'd committed. My chest tightened. "So why the transfer of your shares? Why the Zurich trip?" "She promised me she'd stop everything if I gave her what was mine," Erin said. "She said it was the only way to end this without destroying you." I almost laughed. "And you believed her?" "No," he said quietly. "But I love her, and I had to try." Before I could respond, another text came in, this time from the same unknown number. "Too late, she's already boarding. Zurich flight departs in 40 minutes. I stood up fast. I didn't care about the hotel, or the board, or the legacy. This wasn't about revenge anymore. This was about truth, and finally facing the one person I had hurt without ever knowing it. Michelle. The airport terminal buzzed with that low, anxious hum of early morning departures. I scanned the departure board. Zurich, gate 36. Boarding now. I moved fast. I wasn't sure what I was going to say when I saw her. What words could fix 16 years of buried pain? But I had to try. I reached the gate just as she was about to step onto the jet bridge. Michelle stood there, perfectly composed in a navy trench coat, wheeling her silver luggage. Her hand paused mid-reach when she saw me. Our eyes met. Her face froze for a moment. Not in surprise, but fear. "You shouldn't be here," she said softly, stepping aside from the line. "You were never going to Zurich," I replied. "Were you?" She said nothing. "You just needed me out of the city, out of the way. Long enough for the board to vote me out officially. The Zurich meeting was never real." She tilted her head slightly. "You always were the smart one, weren't you? Just not smart enough back then." A sharp pain stabbed through my chest. "Why didn't you tell me the truth?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Michelle looked at me, eyes full of something that wasn't hate. It was deeper, older, like disappointment soaked in grief. "You looked me in the eye," she said, her voice cracking, "and told Dad I tripped. And he believed you. You gave him what he needed, a reason to forget it ever happened." "I didn't know," I started, but she raised a hand. "You didn't ask." Silence. I took a breath. "I thought I was protecting you." "No," she said. "You were protecting your future. That's why I could never let you have the family business. You don't get to stand on a throne built on my silence." She turned to walk away, but I stepped in front of her. "I get it now," I said. "And maybe I can't fix what happened, but I'm not letting you destroy yourself over it either." "Move," she said coldly. "You're about to leave the country under a fake agenda, after forcing Erin to sign over his shares." She blinked. "You talked to him?" "I did. And I also forwarded your text messages and the Zurich documents to the board." Her lips parted, just slightly. "Check your phone," I added. She pulled it out. 4 unread messages, 2 missed calls, 1 board vote notification. Then her eyes widened. Her position: suspended, pending internal investigation. And her Zurich plan? Nullified. She looked up at me, breathing hard. "You don't understand what this place did to me," she whispered. "What he did to me." "I do now," I said. "And you deserve justice, but not like this, not by turning into him." Her jaw tightened. Her eyes welled up, but the tears never fell. She turned away. "Take care of the chain," she said softly. Do better with it than he did. She walked off, and this time I didn't stop her. If you've ever had someone you love betray you when you needed them most, or felt like your silence was mistaken for weakness, this story was for you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Another truth is coming next week, and this time, someone's husband is hiding more than just texts.